Hello, hello. Welcome, 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 friends. Hello, hello. We have a bit of a surprise live, I guess, today on Saturday afternoon. Hi, Donna. How are you today? Good morning, good afternoon, depending upon where everyone's from. We are here on a Saturday afternoon. At least in Pittsburgh, it's afternoon. Hello, hello. So we have something really cool to share today. But we also have a flash sale. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that up. Let me just write it down on a paper so everyone can easily see it. You have a 20% off your order code. There are some restrictions, as usual, but it is just card day. 20% off your order. Okay. Now, what I'm showing today is not included in the sale. And the reason for that is number one, it's the brand new release, and we are not allowed to always give a discount on brand new things because of the agreement with those companies. So, but I'm very excited to show you. I've been playing with this week. So I have my stuff all unpackaged and ready to show you. But Tim Holtz and Sizzix have just released the Village Collection. Now, I love everything about this. I knew this was coming, I don't know, maybe like a month ago. But I was so excited for it, and it's finally here. It's finally released. This is a very robust die set. So those of you who saw me do the video with the Paper Village from Tim Holtz before, these are examples of what the Paper Village die set creates. Okay, so they're these little small houses. But this collection, the Village Collection, makes larger houses. So you can make a Christmas village, a Halloween village, really, and the sky's the limit. But the cool thing is, the dies from the Paper Village can also work with this as smaller houses. So I'm going to go through this and show you what you get. So this is the packaging. It shows you different things that you can do. And then inside the packaging, it shows the two different house styles that there are. And then it shows the different ways that things work together. Okay? And inside the package, anyone familiar with Sizzix, you know, Tim Holtz dies always come in these plastic sleeves. So there's actually two of them in this die set. There's two plastic sleeves, and then there's one additional larger die that is just in the package too because it doesn't fit. Okay, so that is the die set, and we're going to talk about the different dies that are included. So I'm just going to open this envelope first, and what this envelope contains are all of the pieces to build your house. Yes, good afternoon. Hello, hello. Okay, so there's a lot of dies. There are a total of 87 dies in this package. It's extremely robust. So I don't know if anyone was watching Tim live. I was watching Tim's live. So I can kind of tell you some of the tips and tricks that he gave, which I think are very helpful. But all of these pieces create different things. different roofs, different buildings, different stuff. So, put that up there. That's a roof. This actually is the second piece of that. And this is the second piece of this. So what they have done this time is typically when you wanted to build a house, they would give you one die to cut the frame of the house. But, and you'd have to cut it out twice, 2 times, because you would need 2. But what Sizzix has done this time is they've given you both pieces that you need. Okay, and they have different tabs depending upon which one it is. But here's the really cool part. They're all engraved on the back. So Sizzix always puts this item number on all of their dies. But this particular die set, let me hold it closer. I don't know if you can see. But you see how it says House 1? And then it says that on the other die too, House 1. So you know that both of these pieces are House 1. And then on the contrary to that, on this piece, or both of these pieces, it says House 2. So it's very organized as to what, you know, does what. So then let's take a look at this piece, okay? And this says Manor Top. So if we look in here, this is the manor. That's going to be the top of that, okay? And that's going to coordinate with House 1. So you can see the different size things that work here. Beverly, they are a little smaller than that. They're just a bit smaller. So then if we look at this, it says House 2 Tower. This says Addition. So as you can see on here, that's the little addition. These Manor Top. So all of these little Manor Top pieces will coordinate with this Manor Top. So that is how kind of all of that works, right? So let's put all of this aside. And I'm going to show you what's in envelope number 2. And then we're gonna start some of these houses today. And then so like this one, Addition, which is a roof. This says House 2. This is the roof. And these dies cut and score. That's the really beautiful part of this. The dies cut and they also score. So, whoop. Hold on, I already have a piece. There we go. I don't want to lose that little piece. There are a ton of little bits here. And I put this little chipboard down, well, for 2 reasons. We're going to watercolor some of these bits today, but also so I can make sure that all my pieces stay on the mat. Okay, so there's tons of little things. These pieces are shingles. Rooftop is what Sizzix calls those. But they are different types of shingles. This piece is called a spire, I think is how you say that. But that creates this little pointed piece on top of there. This is a chimney. These are different options that you have to cut the fronts. So I strongly recommend getting magnetic sheets for these. That's my number 1 recommendation, so you don't lose anything. So this is an entryway. You'll see it cuts and scores. So what happens is it's going to cut this part and cut down the center so the doors open. We have different windows. there's all kinds of different windows. So there's small ones, there's large ones, and it also cuts, it cuts the window, and then there's a second piece that cuts out the overlay, like the frame, the window sill, I guess. This is Manor Edge. So on the top of this, you see this pieces poking up. That's what that cuts. So many things that you can do. So many different configurations. But yes, so I'm going to definitely organize these onto magnetic sheets. And I might even make like a little binder kind of just for this whole system. But I can already see so many possibilities for this. And what I'm going to do, so what I'm going to do today, I'm going to make a little Halloween village. And obviously I'm going to be the first to tell you right now, this is going to have to be a multi part live. There's absolutely no way to get this all done in one little session because we have a lot to talk about. But we are going to be releasing some mediums, I think, later this week that are going to be really good for the finishing section of this. So today we are going to talk about cutting out the pieces and the houses and building those. And then we will start kind of the decoration process on another live, the finishing piece. But okay, I'm just trying to lay all these out so you can see all the different options. Like this window in particular. So it says shutters is what they call it. But here's the cool part. So it cuts out this window overlay and the shutters and the whole piece, but it also scores right here, so your shutters can kind of close and open. I'm telling you, they have really thought of everything. So basically what they did, the steel roll dies that they used to make, the Village Collection, kind of came in multiple different packages and sets where, like, you know, the windows and things were one die, and then the base was another die, and this, that, and the other thing. What they have done here is put all of that into one set. So this is another piece for house 1. So as you can see, there's just like all types of different things that are on here. Like it's incredible. At any rate, so, but yeah, so they've put all of the pieces into one die set. So, and it's not like a seasonal thing. You can create Halloween stuff, you can create holiday stuff, you can create everyday stuff, Easter, Valentine's, Christmas, whatever you want. There's so many different things that go into this. But for me, what I'm going to do first is create this little Halloween vignette. And I'm going to show you something that I got to kind of facilitate that. So in his ideology line, they make all different types of like boxes and things. So I went and got these vignette trays because I think it's going to be really easy. And I'm going to be able to flip it over and kind of use that as the base to build a little Halloween village on here. So if you're somebody who likes to kind of recreate what we do on lives, that's something that you can source. But here's the other cool part of this release. So they have released 3D embossing folders, you know, in a bunch of different styles. So they have the wood grain, they have the cobblestone, they have the brick, they have all that. But for this, they've created them in a miniature size. And the reason they're in a miniature size is because you want to be able to utilize these textures for your houses. So I'm going to show you how we're able to create like the wooden texture onto the house. Or let's say you want to have a cobblestone house. You can also have a brick house. So all of these are in a much smaller scale and in a smaller size, and they will create the 3D texture that you need to create your village. So I would say that these embossing folders are a must-have for this village set. Okay? Must-have. Absolutely must-have. I mean, you'll see when we get to it. So, okay. I'm going to set this aside. One moment. I have a little drawer. I can slip it in right now so I don't lose any of the pieces. But, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to start cutting out the base of our house. So I have a few different types of paper prep today. I have our lunch bag paper, which is a good 100-pound paper. And I'm going to create the base of our houses out of this. And then we're going to go back through and die cut the pieces that we're going to use as the overlay. And we'll talk about why we need to do that later. But I wanted to use the craft paper so we could easily kind of differentiate what's the base and what isn't. Okay. So I have my die cutting machine over there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get my cutting plate, lay out a piece of craft paper, and we're gonna figure out what we need to cut here. So I'm gonna cut some of each. So this is house 1. And I also want to include the manor top, so we're gonna need to cut that. Probably not on this, but we will. But we need the roof as well. So this one says house 2. This one says house 1. So we need to cut out this roof for house number 1. And then remember these, so this is a tower for house 2, and this is a tower as well. So as you can see, they're almost the same, but they're not the same. So it's the pitch of the roof that's different. So that's how you know this one's house 2, this one's house 1. Okay? But if you look in our packaging, so if this is the house I want to build, we're going to need to create all of these pieces. But first things first, we're just going to cut out the base. That's it, just the base. So I'm just die cutting that off to the side. And like I said, it's going to cut and score. And since there's 2 dies, oh yes, Robin, you could also use those to texture ATCs. You sure could. Okay. Roof. 2 house 1 pieces. All right. So, I also said I want to cut the manor top. So I need that, and I'm going to need all of these pieces that say manor top. Yeah, that's a really great idea. I agree. All right. I had a different plan today. I was going to have this stuff pre-cut, but the more I thought about it, it's important that we see how to do this. Okay. So now we have our manor top. Perfect. And we can start on our second house. So this would be the taller, skinnier house. And you can cut the windows and the doors into this like as you go. So you don't have to, you know, wait. You can just kind of do that all at once if you want to. Let me see if I can fit. I'll play a little game here. I don't know if I'm able to fit this piece with it. Not going to happen. So I'll have to cut that on another time. But I can cut this little addition piece at the same time. And I can also cut hopefully this piece. It's called Entryway. We're going to need that for our manor, so let's get that on there. And we need a chimney. I believe there's one more chimney we need. Manor top, so we need that one. Okay. So that's all that's going to fit on that piece of paper. Yeah, Mary, it's like, you know, I think it's like exciting because you get to kind of build and construct it however you want. That's the part that I love about it. So when Tim had the Village Collection that were steel roll dies, the windows and the doors and everything were already kind of predetermined as to where they were going to live. But in this case, you really get to decide how you want it to be. If you don't want any windows, you don't have to have any windows. If you decide later that you want to add a window, go ahead, die cut a window in there. I'm not cutting windows right at the moment, only because I'm trying to keep this simple. Well, maybe simple is not the right word. Trying to keep it more, I don't know. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. All right, so basic. That's a great word. Yes, Donna. So this piece I had a little too far off the edge, so it didn't cut correctly. So I'm just going to snip that little edge off so we don't have to redo it. All right. So then this is the other house. This entryway will be part of our manor. This is part of our manor. These are all... this is the manor top. This is the chimney piece. So I'm going to try to keep it separate. And then this is the addition piece. Put those there. And then I do need to still cut out our roof. And I need the addition. One moment. This is the entryway roof that we will need. And this dormer roof, awning. Ah, another chimney. That's what I was looking for. I couldn't find my second chimney, you guys. All right. So for now, I'm just going to cut out the rest of these 3 pieces. Yes, you could create a whole Christmas village. You absolutely could. I would love to do that, to be honest. And the good thing is, so you'll see whenever I get to, oh, it's like these watercolors were like, come on, let's go. I'm going to be using some watercolor today. Prima watercolors, actually. So that's why I have those. Okay, this is our second chimney piece. It's the entryway. Okay. So I think that's enough die cutting for the moment, because we're going to just start kind of assembling what this is going to look like. I'm excited. Are you excited? Okay, get my glue. And we will start with this house that's going to be the manor. That's going to have that really cool kind of look like this. First things first, we're going to identify what all of our pieces are for. This is our roof. These 2 pieces are our house. This is the top of the manor. This is an addition that we can choose. Oh, this, we're going to put that on the other house. And this is the entryway. And this is the very top of this piece. Okay, so I'm going to try not to be so confusing. So all of these little tabs are going to get folded in, and they've all been scored. And we're just going to do that. So this is half of your house. And like I said, the really great part about this whole series, I think, is that you get both pieces, so you can cut it all at once. You don't have to sit there and cut multiples and multiples and multiples, you know. It's kind of all there for you. All right. So that is our base of our house. So what's going to happen is you'll see this tab and this tab will get glued together. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and be brave and put glue on both of the pieces at the same time. And then while I have this sitting down, I'm going to press one together. Make sure that that kind of stays where it needs to be. And then we'll come around and press the other side. So what might be fun is if you did want to make like a whole little village, is to kind of just take an afternoon and die cut out a whole bunch of these pieces. And then you can go in and assemble later, or you can do one at a time. But truly, I don't think that that was a lot of die cutting. Like, I don't, you know, I love to die cut though, so that, there's that. I do like to die cut. Um, but I don't feel like it was a whole lot. Okay. So that is the basis of our house. And just as a size comparison, so this was the paper village, and then this is the what we're doing today, the village collection. It's significantly bigger, but like I said, they still all work together. And this is our roof. And as you can see, it's just going to get glued on like this. So all of these tabs around the edges, we're going to put a little bit of glue on. And then we're just going to pop on our roof. And mind you, I didn't cut any windows or doors into this. And that's okay. And the reason why I'm doing a Halloween village, so we can go back and darken in those windows later. Now, if you wanted to add tiny lights, you would want to cut the windows. So I'm just holding this for a moment to make sure that the glue really adheres and sticks before I move on to the next piece. All right, so that is the basis of our manor, is what we're calling it, okay? So next, I want to go ahead and put on our entryway piece. And again, so this has some really cool doors. So I'm just going to fold all of the score lines, including the tabs. So there's tabs on both sides of the doors and then the top of kind of the little awning part. Now, if you wanted to fold these, Tim Holtz did this with a acrylic block, is how he kind of put those creases in there to make sure that it was nice and sharp. But I think it's okay just like this for these purposes for today. But you do want to make sure you get a nice crease, and it's already scored, so you're halfway there. And then make sure that your doors also fold out on the correct crease. So I can show you real quick. I have this acrylic block. Let me show you what I meant by that in case anyone has a question. So what you would do is hold your acrylic block up to that score line and then just fold your piece up. And it kind of creates that for you. Okay? So that's what I meant by that. That's what Tim was doing today. But, you know, you just create your own ending, you guys. However you want to do it. But like I said, I am using our lunch bag cardstock because it is a heavier weight. And you do want something pretty substantial for the base of these houses. Okay. So our entryway. So on the front of this house, you'll see this kind of like awning part. And on the back, you will see no awning. We want to put the entryway on the side that has that awning section. So these two little tabaroos On the back, we'll get the glue. Yeah, I actually really do think that this is a great project for kids. I truly do. I think because kids like are really interested in creating things and building things, and it, you know, teaches, I think, like fine motor skills too. You know, hand-eye coordination, measurements, cutting, all that stuff. All right. So now our little entryway is there, and you'll notice that this is kind of doubled up now. We're getting there. We're very much getting there. Next up is our manor top piece, okay? And that's the part that's going to begin the basis of kind of like that haunted house feel, or, you know, a vintage home, something like that. This actually needs to go this way. So that's our tab. That's what's going to hold the whole thing together. And then we will fold along all of these score lines. Yeah, I think this is way cooler. It's very different. So I already have an idea that. So I'm just gonna come right out and say it. So I was thinking, okay, you guys, of making like a box, like a, I don't know, that would fit maybe like a 5x8 album, okay, and then the side, it'd be like a drawer that the album would go in and out of, like a holiday album, and then on the top of that, you could make a little Christmas village. So it's like there'd be like a little Christmas village, and then a Christmas album would pull out of the drawer. That's my idea. Yes, oh yes, and it's World Card Making Day. That's the whole purpose of our little discount code for today. I knew you would, Maria. Okay. And we do need to fold these little tabs in too. I forgot to do that before I glued it together, but that's all right. I'll fold them in now because these are what's going to hold this piece to our house. So that's how that's going to go. Let me put it this way. So this piece that we just created is going to end up fitting on like that. Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put a little glue on these two tabs, and then also on these three. And we have these dies and embossing folders in stock, ready to ship right now. So here, oh, hey, Simon. So here's the cool thing. So if you buy these today and you're a subscriber, it fits within that like first 5 thing. And it combines your shipping. I am not an expert on how that works. I apologize. But I know that it works really well. And we still have Simon's release available. Not much of it. I know some things already sold out. So, But if you watched my live the other night, I made these really cool cards with Simon's release. There's just so much being released this week. It's a really big week. So I'm just holding this down right now, so the glue sticks, you guys. That's really the whole purpose of what I got going on here. Okay, so now that's that part. And then this little piece for the entryway, you see how it's scored in the middle? We just are gonna fold that in half, because now that we have this piece on there, Mary, there are not written instructions included, but what I can definitely tell you for sure, Tim Holtz just did like a whole live about this, but one of his makers, as they refer to them, Zoe Hillman, I know that, I'm sure there's multiple people that do, but I can promise you that Zoe Hillman has like a whole blog post all about this, about how it works. I know Tim mentioned that she had a storage solution for these dies. So I'm excited to check that out after this. But I'm certain that there's going to be a ton of content available about these dies. I know Jen Shirkus too. She is one of Tim's makers, and she often puts a lot of information on her blog about kind of how everything works. So there's a lot of things to check out. But they're not written, but they are labeled. So they've engraved the dies, so you know what's for what. That was pretty brilliant. All right, so here we are. We're chugging along, my friends. We are chugging along. So next, I think I think we'll add the chimney. The chimneys. There's two. There's two that we're gonna use. There's two different chimneys, two different sizes, right? So we want to fold all of our tabs. But this is one of those dies that I think you get the die at a certain point in the year. Like right now, it's kind of Halloween time. So I can think of all of these really great Halloween things to do. And I can also kind of think of a bunch of little Christmas stuff that would work really well with this. But I think as, time goes on, you'll come up with more and more ideas and things that you can create for different holidays. Like, imagine let's say someone moved into a new house, you could make them a little house warming welcome to your new home. Or if someone was getting married, you could make them like a little wedding chapel or something. So many possibilities. But I, of course, am going to do a little Halloween Village right now because that's the season that I'm in right now. And I know I've done some Christmas things lately, but I do want to make sure that I get some Halloween projects out there. The fence builder die. It probably would. You might just have to cut it down a little bit so that the posts won't so long, but you could do like a whole border. I didn't even think about that. Good suggestion. Okay, so the chimney comes with two pieces, you'll notice. There's this piece that I just kind of shaped into that, and then there's a smaller piece that has 4 little score marks in it. Or three marks? Yeah. And this is like a kind of the edge of the chimney. I don't know what to call it. But it wraps around. And let me glue that on real quick and I'll show you. You know what else this kind of reminds me of? So, has anyone seen the movie Beetlejuice? I'm actually wearing a Beetlejuice t-shirt right now. The guy in Beetlejuice makes all those little miniatures. He has like a whole village of their town. are we saying? Yeah, it's so fun. So check these out. Get your free shipping. You can use Afterpay. All right, so that's the first little chimney. And then there's a second one, because on this particular manor piece, they have, in the packaging, they put two chimneys together, which I thought was kind of cool. So that's what we're going to do. There's so many like mixed media possibilities. There's just so much you could do with this stuff. But this is something I like really love, because it's one of those projects that, you know, where like a card, you can kind of create that in, you know, all at once. But something like this is something that you would really work on over time. And, you know, you might just do like one little house at a time, and then by the end of the month you have like a whole village. So it's kind of like, has anyone ever made a quilt? I have never made a quilt, but I would equate this to like maybe making a quilt, where it takes time. You know, you have to cut the pieces, you have to prep the pieces, you have to do all of these things. Or I could just be like totally off there, and that's not at all how a quilt works. The flash sale today is 20% off your order. The code is card day, one word. There are some things like this release today that are not included in that, because of the fact that it's new, and we have an agreement with Sizzix that we are not permitted to give those types of discounts on their brand new releases. Yeah, so it's funny. So here's the whole reason that I'm thinking about quilting. So there's a virtual event going on this weekend. It is called Crop and Create Delivered. It is produced by Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. And I'm actually teaching a lunch and learn class for them tomorrow, with an exclusive stamp and die and stencil that we made for them, that I think we may release a little later in the year for others. But at any rate, the one host, Jen, is a quilter, okay? And she's doing, I don't know, she's doing some type of like quilting event. So I'm just going to stick one chimney into the other. I think there's like another one, maybe two, I don't know. But this is now a double chimney. See? And I'll just throw some glue up in there so it works. But anyway, so Jen has this like quilting event, I think, that's coming up. And she was, you know, talking about it, and said that, like, you know, anybody, even if you've never quilted before, like, you would learn. And I thought to myself, I was like, literally, she's such a good like host and online personality. I think she does kind of like the Canada version of HSN. But she was talking about it so great, and I thought to myself, like, wow, I think maybe I could make a quilt. And I like really like talked myself into it this morning. I was like, what? She really gave me confidence that maybe I could make a quilt. So I don't know. Do you think that I could make a quilt, you guys? Do you think that that's a possibility? I have used a sewing machine before, so I do have that little bit of knowledge. So it wouldn't be just blindly jumping into a needle and thread. But I don't know. Do you think that that's... I feel like it's a lot of work. So look, there's our double chimney. And all we have left is this. Of course you can. You could make a quilt. I could make a quilt, but I just don't want to. Yeah, so it's funny too. So she was talking about on the live um, that when someone is a quilter, okay, obviously that's a very special skill, and I really admire people that are able to do that and commit the time it takes to create a quilt. She said that when in the quilt community, that there's a term where they say, you know, if you're gifting someone a quilt, it has to be somebody who's quilt worthy. And I guess by that she means, like, you know, if you make a card, you know, it's very, I don't want to say it's very simple to make a card, but you can make a card rather quickly, like in an afternoon. Okay. But you know, obviously a quilt takes much longer than that. So she said you have to have someone who's quilt worthy. And I thought to myself, boy, what type of person is a quilt worthy person? What do, what do you think? I mean, I agree. I think if you're going to go to all the trouble to make a quilt, it better be somebody like you really want to give them a special gift, right? Someone you really appreciate, someone who's like a really great person, a great friend, you know, really kind. Some people were definitely not quilt worthy, Maria says. But yeah, so that's my whole analogy here was with this little paper village. I feel is kind of similar to creating a quilt. So yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Oh no, so you begged her for a quilt and she didn't give you one. I feel like I asked somebody to make me a quilt one time too, and they didn't make it for me. So don't feel bad, Jen. But that's, my friends, the beauty of the craft industry. There's just so many different things you can kind of get yourself into. And there's always somebody out there that's done it before or that has that skill, you know, that might also be a card maker or a scrapbooker. So you can learn from one another. And I think that is one of the greatest things of this industry. All right. So these are kind of like at a curvature, sort of. As you can see, it's really cool. It's kind of like a scalloped edge. And that is why. So you'll notice that this isn't just a straight on tab. And the reason why is you can kind of like curve this a little bit. A little curvy cue. And I'm just going to pop a little glue on these little tabs. Wait till we get this roof on. It's like going to make the whole world of difference of this little house. And you guys are going to be like, wow, it's a haunted house. Or at least I feel like you're going to think that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overly excited. She never used it. See, that's why they say that. If someone made me a quilt, I would sleep with it every day. I would be so excited. I would tell everyone about that quilt. I would say, you guys, look at this. Somebody made me a quilt, and I know that takes a lot of time. All right, so that is portion number one. So now I'm just gonna kind of do that little curvy cue. I'm just like lightly curving this with my fingers. There are tons of tools out there that can help you do that, but I just did it with my fingers. What is the code again for the discount? It is Card Day. CARDDAY. One word. But yeah, I'm really excited about this weekend. I just feel like there's so much crafting. I'm also working at the haunted house at night, so I manage like the front end of the haunted house. It's all for charity every fall. So that's another thing that's kind of inspiring me to make this a little spooky village. So I think what I want to do is kind of make a little spooky village, and I want to make a little Halloween album with pictures of things that kind of went on this season at the haunted house. I think it'd be cool. You know, the older I get, I'll tell you what, you always have your memories, right? And it's good to capture those. So I think experiences and things that you do are some of the most important things. And then, you know, you can make crafts about it. And then if you know, see the projects that you've made, even if you just pop them on a shelf in your craft room, you can always say like, oh yeah, I made that because of this. Oh yeah, Maria was at the haunted house last night. Jen, I'm not sure what's happening with the wedding situation yet. Unfortunately, there's 2 people I know that their weddings in November have been canceled again here. So we might have to do something different. At this point, I'm ready to just like go to Vegas. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. Everything keeps changing in the world, but the one thing that's constant is you guys are always here to craft with. So I can always count on that, right? One day I think we'll be back to a little bit of normalcy in society. I hope. But I mean, were we really ever normal? I mean, well, I don't even know what normal is at this point, to tell you the truth. As long as I have, you know, time to sit in this craft room at home, I am good to go. Oh yes, our memories become our treasures. That's so true. I love that. We need that on a stamp set. I'm gonna have to make that happen. I want that sentiment as a stamp. Our memories become our treasures. Hmm. That's a really great sentiment. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at it. It's almost there. Well, I'll have to glue it on straight. But we have to put the top on. So these 4 tabs here at the top create the little top section of this roof or top or whatever they want to call it. Bye, Maria. Enjoy the rest of your day. Okay, hopefully this glue sticks. It keeps sliding around, so it's not like perfectly aligned right now, but that doesn't matter. That's going to get covered up anyways with embellishments later, so I'm not going to mess with that too much more right now in the essence of time. But I'm going to try to position this, and then I think what I'm going to do is just glue all around this top edge. It's supposed to be a haunted house. Don't worry about it being straight. Oh, yeah, that's actually true, Mary. See? Always thinking. Someone's always got my back here, right? All right. So that's going to just kind of glue in place. It caught onto all that glue. I'm going to try to hold it so it doesn't move. But look, you guys, look at our house. Look how cool that is. Like, we just made this, like, pretty quickly. And now that's kind of like the base of the little house in the little village. And then for reference, here are the other dies. So this is his Paper Village die that came out last year. So you can see it's significantly larger, right? Yeah. This is so cool. Isn't it the coolest thing? Okay. So that's house number 1, and that's just like the base version. So we're just gonna quickly, because house number 2, I don't have as many like add-on things. This is just kind of gonna be just a plain base of a house, and then we'll, you know, decorate it up later. So I'm just gonna fold down all the tabs of the second one, because I really want you to see the sizing difference of the 2 houses that are included with this die set. Yeah, it didn't take long at all. And like I said, if if you spent an afternoon cutting all a bunch of these pieces, and then you took, another afternoon and made all your little bases, and then you'll see the decoration part's the cool part. So I'm going, after we build this, I'm gonna watercolor some paper, and then we'll dry that up real quick, and then I will show you kind of how the overlay pieces work for the base, because we're gonna do some cool stuff. All right. And then this is like a little addition that you can put on the house if you want. I don't think I cut the little roof part for this, though. There is a little roof for the addition. But I'll fold all the bits anyways, and I'll show you. So like on this house, for instance, you could put the addition like right back there, and then there would be an additional roof. Or you can put it on here. We'll get there. All right, and then this is the roof for this house. This is how, so just so you guys know, this is house number 2, and this is house number 1. If you're following along with what the dies were called. So again, we're just gonna glue both of these tabs. And the other thing I will say, so Tim went live with this, and I don't know how many of these were produced, but I was informed, I will say this, I was informed when we ordered these from Sizzix that if we did not have these in stock the day that this collection was launched, we probably would not be able to get them. So if you're thinking about it, I would definitely get them. And there's another thing I can tell you. So this one, the one from last year, the smaller houses, the Paper Village, I wanted that die for like 7 months before I got it. True story. I couldn't find it anywhere. And you know why? It's because I waited. I was like, I don't know if I want to get it. And then when I wanted to get it, it was too little too late. You know, you live and you learn. And then for this, we're just going to pop the roof on. Whoops. There we go. So I'm going to hold that in place. Oh yeah, you could put clear acetate with little bats coming out of the chimney. That's a great idea. You guys, I love these houses. I really do. So you could do this this piece that's the tower, and it would create like a tall tower on the house. But so if you wanted to add the addition, you could put it here. Okay. But I know there's like a little, hold on. I know there's a die for that. I just have to figure out which one it is. Oh, you know what? It might actually be the same as this. No, that's the manor top. I'll figure it out. I'll find it. And there's a little dormer piece. There's so many different things, you guys. I'm just like, I don't even know what to do first. Dormer roof. There's little awnings that you can put. Okay. Okay. Oh, wait. Here it is. Oh my gosh, all that time it was sitting right there. I knew there was one. So this is the addition roof. I was like, I know I'm not crazy. Okay, so let me just cut that real quick. Because I do want to put that on there. So you can see what that looks like complete. All right. So I'm going to put the roof on before we glue it to the house. And the reason why, this little roof is going to give it more support. So is anybody making anything for World Card Making Day? Just hanging out. It's a really nice Saturday. Yeah, even the small pieces are labeled. Yep. Let me grab one to show you. So like the little teeny tiny circles are not labeled, but it's very self-explanatory as to what it does. So this one says shutters. See? Little. Or like window frame. Crazy, right? All right, so that's our addition. And you could put it on either side, or you could really put like one on each if you wanted to. And then you just glue these tabs. To the side. You're making labels and putting your stamps in storage pockets. Great. Jen, oh, I'm so glad you got it. I can't wait to see what everyone makes. Sorry to cost you money. Oh my gosh, I don't play Animal Crossing. I don't know what that is. I mean, I know what it is, but I don't really play a lot of video games. Okay, so look how cute. So here are our two houses. Now this one's obviously taller because I did the extra like roof section. But look. Or you can see it from this way. And again, the reference of the other ones, these are a lot bigger. They're a lot more robust. So that, my friends, is the base of the Village Collection. So, okay. The next thing I want to do is just some quick watercoloring. So I'm going to just take some watercolor paper, get it a little wet, and I'm going to wet it on both sides. And the reason I've wet that on both sides is I find that if you do both sides, it doesn't curl up as much. Okay? So then I have some Prima watercolors, and I'm just going to use this one. It's called the Classics. And I'm going to use like the gray and the black. Maybe some of the brown. So I'm just going to dip a paintbrush in some water and go into this gray. Because what I'm doing is kind of creating a wash over this piece of paper, because what I'm going to do is die cut the house piece again. Okay, so like basically what we have here is the base of the house. Now I want to create the decorative overlay. And you can, swirl some black in there. This is this haunted house. It doesn't have to be any one color or any particular thing. You want to throw a little brown in. Even a little bit of yellow might be nice. Spray a little more water there and really grunge this up. So this will be like kind of the base layer of whatever type of texture you decide to use. So I'm just making this as crazy as possible, because we'll go over with some other things once it's all assembled, like maybe some sprays or some crayon or whatever you want. Sky's the limit. All right, so then I'm going to take another brush and I'm going to dip over into this white. I'm going to get it real nice and juicy. And just flick some of the white in. It's okay. It's getting everywhere, absolutely everywhere, but that's all right. Because this is still wet, it's going to absorb it a little bit. All right. So now, I'm going to lift this up, wipe up a little bit, you know, always want to wipe up. I'm going to lay this towel down. Boy, my towel is gross, you guys. It looks so stained from all the inks and stuff. Okay, and then I'm going to take my Ranger Heat It tool and I'm just going to dry this. So it's only going to take a couple minutes here. But this has to be dry before we, you know, do anything else to it. So, but like I said, we're gonna continue this journey later this week. But I wanted to get our bases done, and I wanted to show you how we use the embossing folders, because that's kind of really important. So I flipped it over to start drying it on the back too, because that kind of helps with the curling of the paper if you keep kind of flipping it back and forth. You can always, once this is dry, run it through a laminator. And that'll straighten you right up. But we'll just get it nice and dry. And you see, look, we've already kind of created texture with all those watercolors. And it looks really grungy and dirty. The Ranger Heated tool I think is really good because it has it dries things quickly, but it's not as forceful as an embossing gun, so it won't blow things all over the place. Okay. So now we have this, right? So guess what we're going to do next? Can anybody guess? We're going to die cut again. And, okay, so I'm going to start with the base of this house is what we're going to do today. Out of this, okay? So we got to do, no, not that one. No, that's this one. All right, so we don't need the roof. We just need that, and then I need the entryway piece, okay? And you'll see why we're doing this in just a minute. All right, and this is what I'm calling our overlay. So let's die cut that out, those 3 pieces. It's just the 2 house bases and the entryway. Now, you don't have to do it this way. You can totally just decorate this as is, paint it, whatever you want. But I want to show you this. And the reason I want to show you this is because this is how I'm going to show you how cool those embossing folders are. All right. So, these are now our pieces that we have just cut out of our cool paper. Now, here's the fun part. We're not going to need any of these little tabs because we've already built our house. So all we do, trim them off. And what will happen is this will become the perfect sized overlay to go over the base of our house. Look at that. So if you did want to fold it, you'll see look, you guys, fits perfect. Now, for the entryway, we'll have to make some adjustments there to cut that out because I glued that on first to show you. But we're not done. No, we're not done at all. We are going to use those embossing folders to create texture on this overlay. We just want to get all the tabs off because we won't need them. And now you could totally do all this, build your house, be good to go, ready to roll. Okay. But here's how this works. So I'm going to use two different folders for this house. I'm going to use the brick for the main part of the house, and I'm going to use the cobblestone for our entryway. Okay. So I'm just going to pop our entryway in the folder, cobblestone. And then for our brick, so obviously we're going to have to do, you know, more than one here, which that's okay. So I'm just going to pop that in. Wait. Oh, one second. I just realized I don't want those to combine. So let me run that through the machine. All right. You guys, look. Our house is now made of bricks. And our entryway is made out of cobblestone. All right, so I have to finish the brick on this piece, and then I just have to do the other piece. And then I'm gonna fit this on our house and show you how this all works. And I mentioned Zoe Hillman earlier. She has an incredible tutorial using the brick embossing folder, the larger one, but it'll work also with the smaller one, on how to make like really realistic looking brick. It's insane. So I would look her up if you're really interested in the brickwork. All right. You You guys, I mean, does it really get any better than that? I mean, come on. All right, so then, you know, like I said, we fold our bits. And I use watercolor paper. And because watercolor paper is a little more delicate, it pressed through a little bit, so you get all those cracks of the white. So I knew that was going to happen. That was intentional. So let me try to... get all my little folds in here. Now, I'm not going to adhere this today. And the reason for that is I want to do a little more kind of distressing to these papers. But I'm going to put it on as much as I can to show you how cool this is. And I'm just trimming. I'm trimming out the section where this kind of lives, where the entryway lives. Now, like I said, you could have put this piece down before you put the entryway on, and in the future I probably would. But I did it just to show you guys kind of what we're up to. So look, now that I've added that overlay and that brickwork and that cobblestone, it's like the beginning of a really fabulous house. So I'm just going to try to hold all this on. I didn't glue it, but look, you guys, in the back. This is insane how realistic this looks. And this is literally from one die set in these embossing folders. There's a third one too that we'll get to on a different house, because you can do a wooden house as well. There's brick, cobblestone, and wood grain. But look, you guys, these from this one die set. One. I know, it looks so cool. It already looks so spooky, and all I did, that was just that little bit of watercoloring. And we just die cut it, and let's get a little closer. Let's get a closer look here. Like, the detail of that cobblestone is mind-blowing. And the brick, too. I mean, all of it, really, but that is so crazy to me. But remember, there's dies that do the shingles. We'll do another overlay for up here. There will be little shingle pieces for this roof, things that pop up. So there's a lot more to do with this. And now that we've kind of built the base, on the second live, I'm going to have a lot of that already pre-cut, so we don't have to sit here and die cut the whole time. But that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. These wonderful houses. It is the Tim Holtz Village Collection. So please, please check it out before it sells out. I can't see at the moment if it's almost sold out. I'm not really sure. But like I said, I know Sizzix said they're going to be hard to get if it's popular. So I always like to tell people that, because it's something I really wanted for a long time, for a while. So I'm so glad it's here, and I'm so glad I got to share this with you today. So happy World Card Making Day. Don't forget, we have a discount code today. The code is CARDDAY. CARDDAY. 20% off your order. Some exclusions do apply. obviously because of, you know, new releases and things that we're not allowed to discount, and subscriptions and events and things like that that we never discount. Um, but yeah, so thank you for joining me today for this. I'm gonna go and play around a little more with some card making and some other fun activities today. So again, check all this out. I'm so glad you're all here. I'm so glad that you were able to join us, and look for me later this week with some more inspiration for our houses. All right, guys, have a great afternoon. Thanks for joining me. Bye.